We are going to start talking. Hi, everybody. We're going to start talking today about the ELA, or English Language Arts State Test, which we're going to be taking this week and next week. There are two parts to the test, but today I'm only going to talk to you about the first part, which is called the CAT, or the CAT, which stands for the Computer Adaptive Test. And that just basically means that it adapts to you when you take it, changes as you take it. Today's goal is that we're going to talk about the test. We're going to go over examples of what the questions might be like. We're going to talk about how long it might take. And we're going to talk about behavior expectations, which a lot of us aren't going to like, but we don't have a choice whether to follow because these aren't Ms. Vernon's rules and they're not Mr. Newman's rules. They're the state of Oregon's rules. And so we have to follow the state of Oregon's rules or else we all get in trouble. We're going to figure out how to use the help tools too, because there are some ways that you can, take the test in a smarter way by using some tools that are available. Number one, let's get over the kind of stuff you're not going to like first. It's a serious test. We have to take it seriously. I've seen, how you take the tests and quizzes in some of your content classes, like the one that's like on the other side of our door, on the other side of our wall. And you're not always serious, right? I've seen you messing around, talking to each other, making googly eyes. But this is a serious test because it's the state of Oregon's test. They decide what the test is going to be like. They make us give it to you. I wish I didn't have to, but it's our job. And that means that we have to follow their rules. The handbook that I have to read in order to administer the test to you is like 400 pages, right? There are lots of rules. The big ones are like, it has to feel like a test, like you were in high school and you're taking the SATs. No eye contact, like you can't make knowing eyes with someone across the room or at your table. Not a stitch of talking, like your mouth has to just be closed. As soon as the test is on, you can't communicate with anyone. And the biggest one is no technology. Of course, we have the internet in our pockets nowadays. It's not just on the computer. So we're talking no smartphones, no smart watches, no Apple Watches, nothing that's going to connect to the internet. We can't use any of those things. It's unpopular, but true that we're going to be putting our phones off, like not just like on silent, but we're going to power them off and we're going to put them away. We're going to collect them, which is hard for you to handle. They're going to get a Ziploc bag to put your phone in, and we're going to collect your phone. Obviously, we can't make you give it to us, but there are severe consequences at the school level if it discovers that you do have your phone on you when you're taking the test, because that means that you had the internet at your disposal and you're not allowed to. Even if you are not taking the test, like let's say you are someone who opted out, or let's say you finish, but people in the room are taking the test. Even when one person is taking the test, all of the rules apply. They apply to every other person in the room, even if you're not taking it. So that means you can't go on the internet or use your Chromebook or be on your phone or listen to AirPods at all when even one person's testing. You can't even leave your seat. So if you want to go get water from the water fountain or sharpen your pencil, you have to raise your hand and ask. Think of like the rules at the strictest classroom you've ever been in and then double them and triple them and quadruple them. The rules are strict. Calm and quiet at all times. That might lead you to be like, but what can we do? We can try hard. We can read a book because books are just fine. If you're finished with the test or if someone near you is still testing, you're allowed to read, write, or draw. We can color. Your job is to bring your charged Chromebook daily because obviously you can't take an online test without the computer. And there are parts of the test that need headphones. So we want to make sure we have headphones that will connect to our Chromebook because there are listening passages where you need to have headphones where you listen to the story instead of reading it. You're allowed to have chewing gum or mints or a water bottle at your desk. You can bring quiet fidgets, like putty is fine, but something like a poppet or something like a tech deck, which makes noise, are banned, not allowed because they're distracting. The CAT, which was the first part of the test, it's going to take you multiple days. So the language arts test is the longest state test. And the reason it's the longest is because it involves a lot of reading, and reading takes time. It's all multiple choice, but some of the questions are strange, and I'm going to show you examples of them next. There'll be about 30 questions on everyone's test. Someone might get more, someone might get less. And there'll be one or two times where you listen to an audio passage instead of reading it. There's a digital notepad, and I'll give you paper. You're allowed to take notes when you're doing things. Here's one of the weird questions. It's multiple choice, but the directions tell you to select 2 sentences from the text. And if you only selected one, you'd automatically get it wrong. So like, think about how the test is literally trying to trick you. Their goal is that they want you to get it wrong. You have to be smarter than the test. You have to try hard. You have to read carefully. You have to focus. This is a traditional multiple choice. Definitely going to be on the test at some point. And then you might get questions that look like this, which are non-traditional multiple choice. They're telling you that there are 3 mistakes in the passage and that you have to highlight 3 of the mistakes. So you click and highlight the ones that are wrong. Each question will tell you what to do. If you ask Ms. Vernon, I don't get it, what should I do? The only thing I'm allowed to say is do the best you can. So you have to just read and reread and reread the directions, because I literally can't guide you or assist you or give you any help at all. It's a really, really bad time to be a teacher, because it's very weird to tell kids you can't help them. It doesn't feel right, but it's what we have to do to get the data. Now, we're going to do a practice test today. And in order to do the practice test, you're going to have to sign on to the computer. There are directions that I'm going to provide to you in a moment, but we want to make sure that we're taking the 7 ELA CAT, because you are in grade 7. We want to practice taking the computer adaptive test, or the CAT. So we're going to look at the practice test today, so that the first time we see the test isn't actually, the test. That would be scary. And while you're looking at the practice test, you're going to do a scavenger hunt. So I've made a scavenger hunt activity for you. Your job will be to try to answer the questions on the scavenger hunt worksheet by taking the practice test. And you do have to get to the end of the practice test, but you don't have to do every reading in depth. So it's like, I'm not asking you to take the test today and to take every question and to read everything perfectly. I just want you to see the kinds of things that you're going to experience on the test. I want you to figure out how to highlight. I want you to figure out how to answer the questions, like literally how to click. It's going to look like that.